There I was, frolicking in the snow, at the other side of the planet, trying to forget my issues back home. The issues that I didn't put in my baggage, although my baggage got lost somewhere in Germany, so that would have been poetic. But that's way ahead of the story. I'm gonna try to keep the narration linear so y'all won't click away. So here's how I spent my Christmas in Canada during a pandemic, which was totally worth it. I mean, look at this beautiful snowy scenery. Anyway, just roll the intro. So, the itinerary consisted of 3 flights: Greece to Munich, Munich to Toronto, and Toronto to Vancouver. Around 20 hours, something like that, and then you end up having no sensation on your butt, like none, kaput. So for the long flight, I was sitting on the window seat by myself, so comfortably, and then the pilot came to greet everyone, because it was his last flight before retirement, and the air hostesses were taking photos and videos and everyone was clapping, and then my stupid ass freaked out and thought for a second who the fuck was flying the airplane. But yeah, all good. I landed, I met with my friend. The city's so pretty, Christmas decor everywhere. I'm as far as possible away from home. Everything is looking great. I can't wait to be out all day, explore forests and thrift stores, yada yada yada. And then a super fucking freezing cold hit Vancouver, which... Okay, so I'm Greek, living in Greece all my life, and I cannot handle sub-zero, especially when it's sub-10, sub-15. Please don't. I'm only equipped to handle heat, and I say this with great pride, because it ain't easy. But I tip my hat to the people who experience cold like this every year, every winter. You must have a superpower. But let's focus on the positive ones. Never in my life before have I ever seen this much snow, that I don't need it anymore. Seriously, I'm good for the next 2 years. Jokes aside, it was lovely. The footage you see here is when it started snowing. I was already excited seeing this little of snow, not knowing what was waiting for me the next few days. So the next few days we've spent them in forests. Luckily here in North America, forests and mountains are easily accessible by bus, unlike Greece, where you have to drive to the nearest village, and in most cases you need a car and someone who drives, and also you pay for tolls because the place you visit is out of the municipality you live, and capitalism fucks us all without lube. But I digress. Back to the dreamy, fairy, snowy, happy place. So, this was my second time in Vancouver. The first was back in the spring of 2019. A time I always go back to. A time with no travel restrictions, craziness, face mask acne and mass hysteria. A time when I could ride the bus without being paranoid and then applying hand sanitizer everywhere. I mean, everywhere, even in my... Anyway, if you're a compulsive traveler like I am, and have spent hours reading about places in Lonely Planet, most of the times ending up drunk, watching places in northern Italy, dreaming about going there with the love of my life. Where was I? Oh yeah, seasons. So if you do all that, apart from the last bit, you probably already know that the best time to travel is during spring and autumn. With some exceptions, of course. For example, if you want to visit Iceland during the summer or Australia during the northern hemisphere winter, it's the go-to way to avoid winter. Like a bird. We will never be as cool as birds, let's be honest. Speaking of birds, the third morning I woke up to an eagle staring at me from out the window. He was very, very hot. And yes, I'm assuming his gender. No, I'm not a furry. And yes, I need to get laid. So me and my friend spent a lot of time playing around with icicles. I don't know what's going on with icicles, but this is a universal thing, I believe. When we find a wild icicle minding its own business, we want to approach it, take it, hold it, lick it maybe. I swear to God, I wish I was an icicle sometimes. Okay, I'm gonna rename this video Ophelia being thirsty for 15 minutes. So yeah, icicles exist and I'm like, must acquire that. Something else I realized while walking in the snow, apart from my feet turning into literal icicles, is that snow brings out the inner child in me. It makes me want to run around, make snow angels, build snowmen, eat ice, slide in ice, step on that frozen lake, which the ice is probably way too thin to hold my fat ass, and then fall into my freezing cold demise into the hands of the sweet. But yeah, snow, it's amazing, and if the city is prepared, it's a fun and safe experience for all. In my city, in the rare occasions that's snowing heavily, everyone goes insane. There's total chaos everywhere. Schools close, which is good, I guess, because kids get to play with the snow. But wait, there's more. There's no public transportation, so if you want to go somewhere, well, good luck. The poor delivery people still work under these circumstances and it sucks, it's very dangerous. I don't know why people keep on ordering food, like, just cook something. You see, the city's in total chaos. Don't make these poor people go out in the snow, risk their lives to bring you your fucking burger. Just eat an icicle instead. There was a time when, after being out in the cold for hours and you couldn't feel your limbs anymore, that you decide, hey, it's time to go home, take a warm shower and drink some cocoa. But it took you an hour to go there, so it will take you another hour to go back. And the going back bit is not as fun as the going to bit. It's like eating spicy food. It's nice when it gets in, but nightmare when it gets out. So there I was, freezing, hungry, tired, and jet lag, trying to skip the time and be home, you know, just like that. In doing so, I found myself daydreaming, trying to put my consciousness into a fantasy world, trying to build a safe, happy place while my body was running out of juice and will to carry on. And this is something as old as I am. Because I've been doing this my whole life whenever things got too hard to handle. It's dissociation, it's what I call being on autopilot. It's my defense mechanism, and so just like that, I snapped out and there I was, home. The next days I've been doing some thrifting and shopping, you know, treating myself, spoiling myself and everything. I mean, no one in this whole damn world will be patient and eager enough to do it, so might as well do it myself. You know, I am my own daddy. Anywho, Christmas passed, which I didn't even realize. I spent most of the day sleeping, and honestly, I regret nothing. Can we normalize sleeping during Christmas, New Year's and shit like that? It's just another day, honestly. I'm old enough to have gathered many fond memories of past Christmases and some not so much. And I'm out of space in my brain memory card for this year, so I'm gonna skip it. It's gonna be our little secret, okay? Cool. There was something weird living in a time zone when you got to experience everything last. It got more intense on the last day of the year. It was noon, I was walking around in a forest, classic me, and my friends and family were like, oh, Happy New Year, and I was like, okay, good for you, I'm still living in the past. Mood. It was kind of scary though, kind of triggered my fear of missing out, I don't know. It's this deep-rooted fear we have as humans that we don't want to be left behind, and certainly I didn't want to experience the start of 2022 last in line, sweaty and sad and lonely. But as I said before, and I'm trying to do what I preach, hashtag New Year's resolution, it's just another day. I'm not gonna give it any sort of power like, ooh, it's the last day of the year, make it count, go partying, make plans for the new year. I'm just happy I survived another year, I guess. Healthy and with a roof above my head and a mask on my face that's causing me so much acne, like what the hell? But all in all, it was a nice change entering the new year surrounded by this winter wonderland. It was definitely a unique experience being abroad during holidays and during winter. The first and last winter I spent abroad was when I was living in Scotland, which was a whole new thing for me. But after this, I can say that I've experienced all 4 seasons somewhere abroad, and every place had a cool, new, beautiful thing to show me. And with Canada, it was snow and endless forests and cute clothes at thrift stores. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to be materialistic, but fuck. So yeah, my trip was coming to an end and I wanted to finish this fun adventure with a visit to the aquarium. There's something relaxing and soothing about watching colorful fish swimming all around you. And you, being the fish out of the bowl, you just sit there and observe, which is a feeling you sometimes have with life. You feel like a visitor and the water is life, flowing everywhere around those who choose to swim and, well, breathe underwater. Because let's be technical, this analogy is pretty, but we'll all die underwater in reality. We will never be as cool as fish either. This video has turned out to be a list of things I hate about humans. And it makes sense. I always preferred the company of animals, although my parents never let me own a pet. They told me that pets die and that's really sad and painful, so I'd better not experience it at all. They later on allowed me to have a pet parrot, but didn't let me have it outside of the cage, and so the poor thing got depressed. After a few years I gave it to someone who owned a lot of birds and had them fly free around the house. So yeah, what do we learn from this? Well, for starters, my parents didn't like pets, because pets, as all biological creatures, shit, and this, for my parents at least, means the end of the world. But let's get deeper. For me, having to listen to this excuse of pet dies very sad made me think that there's no point in engaging in something if it's gonna end, which defies the whole point of existence, and because of that I sometimes get these dreadful feelings that everything is vain, because it's gonna end, so why bother? Might as well jump in that fishbowl and die. At least I'll go in style, with many visitors observing and clapping at me. Another beautiful day at the aquarium, indeed. So after this sad segment, I realized my footage is ending, so I'll need to shut the fuck up. The journey back was a nightmare because the night before my flight, it snowed again, so all airplanes were covered in snow and we had to wait for 3 hours for the snow to melt. I lost my connection flight, I got a rebook, more flights this time, I stopped at Brussels and Vienna, my baggage got lost in Germany, and well, I finally got home. And you know, you've landed in Greece because most of the passengers are Greek, and Greek people have this tradition of clapping when the plane lands, like, bravo Mr. Pilot for the great show, we'll come again soon. It's hella cringe, but being abroad for a long time means you miss stupid things like this. So as silly as it sounds, after the long and stressful journey back home, this clapping during landing was like music to my ears, singing to me, you're finally home.